Welcome to welcome to the Rigatoni Capital Substack. I have my co-host David Winchell, also known as Golf Winch, also known as Bitcoin for President. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm also known as BFP on the Bitcoin's veteran space, which is Bitcoin
BFP
for
is great.
Presidents.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I guess we got some earnings coming out today on the evening of October 29th. We had some big boys come out. I know Google is up on a good report. Um,
NVIDIA, 5 trill.
NVIDIA 5 trill. That was pretty much on yesterday's news in their GTC event. The godfather of AI did his presentation and
Sin Wong
yeah, got everybody hype.
is a
Um,
beast.
for good reason. Wow, Google is up 6% after hours.
Wow.
Incredible. I know Microsoft sold off, so they're down only 2 point something percent, as you can see. I don't think that's a big deal. I think they're going to hum along. And we had another big boy report. Let's see. Let's go to my oh, Meta. I wonder if Meta reported. Let's check it out real quick before we start the Bitcoin show. Meta down nicely, 9%. Meta platform. Let's see what happened to Meta. What happened to Meta? Let's get out of here real quick.
Facebook.
Yeah, everything. The one thing I don't like about earnings is that they all come out on the same day.
Well, I like your earnings whisper site. That's cool.
Yeah, it's not letting
I'm
me.
I'm out of the loop. I'm such a Bitcoiner now. I don't
Yeah.
geek out on the stock, but I still do. Like today, I traded or I didn't trade. I just bought some XYZ
Hmm.
for the wife and her account,
For
and then I
block, you
sold
mean
a
block?
couple covered. Yep, Block
Hmm.
Incorporated, which owns Cash App Square, and then I sold a couple covered calls,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think that's a quietly they're quietly building a juggernaut when it comes to Bitcoin. But
Hmm.
you got Nvidia, right? I mean, you're crushing it in that, man.
Yeah, I actually took profits in the video last year, and I was so pissed off with my tax bill. I was like, I
Oh,
don't want to do that again.
you didn't take it all off the table, did you?
No, no,
I
no.
was
I
gonna
took
say.
maybe like 20% at most off the table.
Okay.
And yeah, I was pretty ticked off by the taxes. And it was long-term taxes, it wasn't short-term gains, it was long-term gains. And
What is the rate on that?
I
If it's
believe long-term is 15.
15 now, okay.
Yeah. Meta sees Q4 revenue 56, maybe they guide it lower. Meta takes non-cash charge on tax bill. Yeah, what's up with all these tax bills? What's that? Europe? Um, yeah, so and I got Chipotle. I think Chipotle, Starbucks came out and was mixed. Um, and I'm pretty sure Chipotle also was coming out this afternoon. You own any
Oh,
Chipotle
nice.
still?
I actually do or I don't own any. My wife owns a little bit. That's what I buy with her covered call
Hmm.
proceeds. So she had a bunch of it, and then it got called away because I sold her call options in it, and now I just stack it and because it's down from when they split. It's down like
Chipotle has been awful, an awful
awful.
stock.
Yeah.
I liked it be under $40 a share, so I have a nice position there. Slight miss as traffic slowed. Really, this just comes to same store sales, and I don't see anything on same store sales. I mean, revenue should not be down. Yeah,
It
revenue
goes up
shouldn't.
when they raise prices, which they do like
No, it
every
goes up
year.
when they add. Yeah, and it goes up when they add stores, which they're doing. and the reason the stock has sucked because of same store sales, comparable sales, minimal growth, expected to decline lower single digits. Yeah, this is going to be like a 2-year story at this point if they're ever going to recover. It's a
Yeah.
shame that I bought it. Yeah, so I wanted to have this show. Maybe we'll do it weekly. Hopefully we can, and kind of this be more focused around Bitcoin. Um, and I want to also have bag holder come on, which he'll come on once a week, and I'll do one with him separately, which will focus more on the stocks he's buying. And he's a big gold and silver guy too. So this show will be like more Bitcoin related, I think, because you're very knowledgeable in Bitcoin.
I try
um
to be.
yeah, and I wanted to well, why don't we start with you? I think you wanted to mention this isn't a Bitcoin story unless you want to relate it to Bitcoin. But you had
Well, I
mentioned
mean, everything in essence in finance is related to Bitcoin in a certain separation, but I just noticed the world index. You're familiar with it, the MSCI,
CI, yeah.
and it's an index that tracks
Every country except for USA.
yeah, there you go. And it's up 26% in 2025, and our S&P is up about 15%. So it's just eye-opening that all the other countries are outperforming, and like the Korean one was up 64%,
There you
Germany,
go. Korea's Kospi.
yeah,
Kospi. Kospi.
Germany 22%, the Japanese 24%, and it just I don't know, I don't know that much, they don't there's not a lot of information being pumped into the American psyche when it comes to other markets unless you're in that, that like me as a layperson, I'm not like, in that,
Hmm.
but the suits and the people that are doing this on a daily, they're seeing it and they're clearly allocating capital towards that. But Bitcoin is basically going to outperform everything on a 4-year basis.
Hmm.
Epochs, they call them in the Bitcoin sphere, but that's hard to see when you're looking at quarter by quarter, and everyone kind of looks at finances in a quarterly. There are no conference calls in Bitcoin. It's a transition of monetary. It's basically a reshuffling of the deck, and
Yeah,
you have all the fiat currencies as one card in the deck, and then you have
sure.
real estate, you have gold, silver, you have stocks, bonds. These are all ginormous asset classes that are used as money or store
Yeah.
of value in your form of thinking. Like, but as we transition, it's just inevitable that it goes higher because we're looking at it in US dollars. That's what
Hmm.
we're saying when we say Bitcoin's going higher.
Yeah,
It's really just Bitcoin being Bitcoin.
sure.
It's,
Yeah.
so
I think I have an opinion on this.
go ahead.
Um, and I want to make sure I can share the screen again, which I don't know how to do now. Great.
Well, while you're figuring that out, I was just talking
Yeah,
on
go.
the Bitcoin veteran space,
Yeah.
and we were talking about how all these things are tools because we got into the discussion on real estate, whether to rent or own, and you always got to live somewhere, so you're going to be paying money. And
Hmm.
I argued that you know lever up and get the biggest mortgage you can
Hmm.
because that's going to depreciate in value, and as you move forward in your career it's going to be easier to make more and more money, and your
Hmm.
your amount you owe on this house is going to decrease in value because those dollars are being devalued or debased, and you're paying it back in future dollars which are easier to create for you.
George always says on the Investing or Gambling podcast, it's a great way to short the dollar.
Exactly. I agree with George 100% on that.
Yeah.
That's
You
that's why I
know,
think. But my
yeah,
main point was these are all tools, real estate being a tool, gold being a tool, you name it, all those different asset classes, and
hmm
Bitcoin is a tool as well. But we're not going back to bow and arrows.
hmm
Bitcoin's the firearm.
hmm
No one's, everyone's going to use guns from now on. They're not going to use a less of a weapon when they
Sure.
find it, when they realize what it is, and they can see that they can't be debased.
Yeah,
Send it. It's unconfiscatable. The people that are in government can't seize it. They can't do anything. It's
sure.
laws don't affect it because it's pseudonymously anonymous.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
protect it without, if you study it and you figure out that it's unconfiscatable, then it gives you a sovereign type of
Mhm.
mindset, which is
You
different than a
selling
stock.
those t-shirts?
No, I got this along with
Uh-huh.
like four or five other ones, so I could psyop my children, make them realize, Bitcoin, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of propaganda in the schools, and they're indoctrinating your children from
Yeah.
kindergarten on.
Time to homeschool.
Yep,
Um,
their own
well,
propaganda.
let me go back to what my thought process was in terms of the in thoughts of these other countries outperforming.
Hmm.
I thought maybe this was us being them being in a surplus before these tariffs went into place, and now that there is no surplus because of tariffs, these countries don't have. We're not exporting them dollars as much, let's say. And so, when they were in a surplus, they would go back. They would come back and they would buy if they were in a surplus with our trade deficit. A lot of the cash they were getting from the surplus, they were buying our treasuries and our stock market.
Yep.
That's a Jack Mahler's thought process, and I'm sure it's true. And that's why I thought a lot of these countries were doing well because they're allocating to gold, which is so true. As you can see, this is the first time this century that since the 90s that now central banks around the world own more gold than on their balance sheet than U.S. Treasuries. You kind of saw like that chart, kind of like they're crossing paths right now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But the countries themselves, if they have a surplus, why are they going to buy U.S. stocks? Why are they going to buy Nvidia? Why are they going to buy Apple and U.S. Treasuries? I mean, it's like it made sense for them to do that before as a store value. Now, I don't know what they're buying. They might be buying their own stock market at
Right.
home. So I thought maybe that had something to do with it because you can see that sell off in April during Trump tariff day, Liberation Day. That look at the charts. I mean, these countries snap back harder than we did probably. So
Yeah. What about
um,
November 1st? Is that supposed to be a tariff day on China?
this November 1st,
Yeah.
I don't know when are they meeting?
I think they're saying, well, I'm expecting Trump to pull back before the November 1st deadline. You know how that goes. So that's a
I think they're
Saturday.
meeting tomorrow.
Oh,
But
okay.
but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it might be over the weekend. It's in Korea, right?
Well, the deadline was November 1st, so they're probably going to meet and then iron it out,
Yeah,
and then it won't happen. Like
yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
what is
that's
it?
correct.
Taco? What do you call it?
Yeah, that's a very yeah, Trump always
Cave
chickens out.
chickens out. That's it.
I think that's why the market bounced because we got those headlines coming out that we were hopeful that they would fix the fentanyl export issue. And it's like, really? I mean, first of all, that's a huge problem. But it's like, okay, so we're going to roll back tariffs because of that, or is it because China has leverage on rare earths? It's like
You know
silly.
what? That reminds me of a very good thesis this guy brought up, and I don't know if, or a theory. I don't know if it's a thesis or a theory, but whatever. He on the Bitcoin veterans. So these are all mostly retired military guys, and he was saying, and it clicked in my head. It made sense. He's like, we're Trump is not part of the global agenda, and he's kind of shown that. But what he is doing is he's trying to build his legacy in the Americas. Think Gulf of America.
Hmm.
And now what he's doing in Venezuela with basically, we don't really know. It's all deception with these guys up in the high towers. And then you got Argentina, which is another,
Hmm.
you know, some kind of monetary something or other going on there, 40 billion or whatnot. So, and then Canada, you want to make them a 51st state. So you got all the way from North
Which isn't going to
America.
happen.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it doesn't mean he can't try. Trump's very,
Hmm.
bold, and so that's something to watch for when you think in a finance way. Like, is he trying to bring Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia, all those into the fold, and
Hmm.
get rare earths right next door? I mean, they got
Yeah.
so
Well,
much
yeah,
resource.
yeah, 100%. And it's funny, even my personal trainer thinks that's the whole point of us bombing those drugs,
See?
those drug ships. I'm like, yeah, like he creates his own luck, like even if that ends up happening, you create your own luck the more you spread your arms and your wings. So yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Latin America has plenty of rare earths, but if you look at a chart of rare earth refining, China owns like 90% of the global market on the refining part of it. So even if, let's say, when we have a lot of rare earths, I'm sure. Let's say Venezuela has a lot of rare earths. Like, are they refining it in the scale that China is? No, but yeah, definitely. I agree with all that. Um,
So
let me
you got
see
a
if I can.
personal trainer?
What's that?
So you got a
I have a
personal
personal
trainer?
trainer. You know why? I see it as like an insurance cost. I can't.
Nice.
I can't get my ass to the gym
I'm
unless
the
I have.
same way. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I go to CrossFit, and it's not personal training, but I have a
yeah,
trainer every day when I just
yeah.
show up. They
Mine's a
make me
one-on-one.
do
It's very
stuff.
elitist.
Oh, well, the one-on-one is way more beneficial, but $7
Yeah,
per training, that's what I
yeah,
pay. I pay a
yeah,
little
yeah,
more than that.
yeah. Exactly. All
So
right.
I know I bought my son Jacob personal training because he's just like me, probably like you. Like I don't get anything done if I go to the gym and I'm not being told what to do.
Well,
So
the way to get jacked is to they call it reps and reserve. So like you push yourself on that last rep, even though
yep.
you're maxed out. And like don't do that on my own.
Yeah, those are
So
force reps from when I was young.
yeah, yeah. Well, can't you see how jacked I am on this Zoom call?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's. You had mentioned something in between this, and I wanted to touch on it, but I can't remember. Remember we talked about this.
The was it the MSCI?
We took, yeah. What was after that? Oh, real estate, shorting the dollar. Yeah, I can't remember. Oh, oh,
Sure.
oh, 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 this is what I wanted to talk about. As you had mentioned that some people are not realizing the bow and arrow. No, they don't know that the firearm exists.
Yeah, like the fire going back to like, when the firearm was invented, guns basically, to dumb it down a little. Nobody kept using the bow and arrows and the other weapons. Everyone that had a chance switched to the gun, the
Hmm.
proverbial firearm.
But you see
So
this meme, right?
knowing that it's an apex predator. People don't go back to the horse and buggy when there's a car, when you can
Yeah,
drive.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor to put
Yeah,
Bitcoin in. Yeah, especially people that are all hyped on gold right now. But this meme, I think, is so perfect because I lived this situation. I have a lot
I
of
like
people that
that.
I have a lot of people in this line in my life.
I love that meme. That's great because there are levels of Bitcoin to 100%. And I did the exact same thing. That was
Yeah,
me at 67 cents
yeah.
when it I heard about it when it was 67 cents. Then I traded it on Coinbase. Or no, I'm sorry. I bought $100 because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to myself it was a scam because it just kept hanging around and it was
Yeah.
somewhere under 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought $100 worth, lost it in the Mount Gox debacle when they still talk about that to this day. The biggest exchange had like
Hmm.
2/3 of all the Bitcoin around, and
Yeah.
I lost $100. So I'm like, oh, it's a scam. Then kept hanging around. I started watching Max Kaiser on
Mm-hmm.
on RT Russian Times, and then I started trading it on Coinbase, which
Yeah.
brings me to the second line.
Yeah.
I traded it from I think it was like 5 grand all the way up and went to like 17,000. I got out,
Mm-hmm.
and then it crashed back down a little bit, and then the GameStop debacle. That's what got me reading every book I could on Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's when I graduated all the way to the to learn because I kind of changed in my silver when that happened and
Mm-hmm.
put basically all any dollars I had into it.
Yeah. Yeah. A
So
lot of people have an opinion on Bitcoin before they went through the store. It's interesting.
yeah, that's a
I
rabbit
guess
hole to learn that
it
that is
is,
the
but it's
biggest
so much
rabbit
fun.
hole. Oh, it's
Yeah,
great. You can't
I
learn
find
enough.
it. Yeah, you can't learn enough, and I find it frustrating that people that are interested in finance and in investing and in macroeconomics don't go through the Bitcoin learning door. Um,
The best way to get them to go through that door instead of going through the Bitcoin door,
Mhm.
learn the history of money. And that's what I was studying
Exactly.
way before Bitcoin. I was
That's
studying
part of the
that in
learning
my
process. That's
20s.
chapter one. Yeah.
Yeah, that gets you to the gold. I mean, that's where
Yeah.
gold, I was always a gold bug all the way up until Bitcoin. I thought of gold as money and we're just living this illusion.
Yeah.
Like we're, you know,
Yeah. That's so
so
true.
far gone off the gold standard that it's just warped into this fiat version of we can debase you anytime we want.
Yep.
We did by a quarter point today.
Yep. Exactly. So I wanted to talk about this article, which is from uh, Sylvain Sorel.
Okay.
And he writes the newsletter in Bitcoin We Trust. Do you know him?
No.
Yeah, he's good. Um, and this actually is a free article. That's why I'm sharing it. I guess some of it you have to pay, some of it is behind a paywall, some of it's not. But I thought this was really good. Um, in the S&P, people say you buy and hold stocks because, a very small amount of time makes up for all your gains. So like timing the market is
Yeah.
awful. And he mentions that in Bitcoin, it's like that, but on steroids. And it actually, most of your gains come with just 10 days out of the year. And the other 355 days of holding Bitcoin, you're like pulling out your hair. Um, I thought that's a great way to put it. Let that sink in. Not 10 weeks, not 10 months, 10 days.
10 days.
Let me see here. And trying to find another good quote he had here.
It's one in every
Um,
36.5.
uh, let's see. He says, when it happens, it will happen fast. This is kind of like is this his conclusion? Yeah. When it happens fast. The 10-day phenomenon in the historical proof. Bitcoin does not wait for you. It does not. Can you see me?
Yeah. I just lost seeing you, but I can see the article. I can't hear you if you're talking. Pressing too many buttons over there. There you are.
That was really annoying. Sorry
Now I
about
can
that.
hear you. No, you're good.
Uh, so are we still recording?
I think
Yeah.
so. You're recording on your other one.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I got a call and I'm all, oh, so annoying. 10-day phenomenon in the historical proof. Bitcoin does not wait for you. It does not ask for permission. It spends 97% of its time in this 300 in the 355 days being ignored, mocked, and left for dead. Building pressure on it's mathematically secure, scarce, and distributed. And then 3% of the time, just 10 days, it rewrites all the rules and reclaims its value in a vertical, unforgiving, and life-altering ascent. Um, I still think that buying the dip is great. I think you should dollar cost average. That's his whole point.
Yeah.
And that's what you and I talked about, I think, like last week. But what would be ideal is if you dollar cost average and then you deploy a big chunk of money when everybody really hates it and sentiment's shitty.
That would be the most ideal. I'm not that savvy and I don't have any money to play with, but I guarantee you, if I got some large sum of money from some great aunt or, parent that somehow came up on a lottery ticket or something,
Mhm,
and I ended up with like, 100 grand,
mhm,
I would probably just uh hold like I would do like 10 grand a month, and then I would do a 20 grand chunk if I saw a big dip,
mhm.
because I I fight trying to get every penny into it, because I do see a point in time in the future where it just incrementally goes up every day, because we're in that like different environment where more people have figured it out than the tiny
Yeah,
fraction that have right now. Right now, you got traders, you got all kinds of different people
yeah,
in it, but look
yeah,
at addresses on Bitcoin. There's
yeah,
less than a million people. I mean, I'm sorry, right around a million people have one Bitcoin
yeah,
or on a wallet. So that
yeah,
just shows you, and people can have multiple wallets. It's
yeah,
pseudonymously anonymous. So you could have 10 different wallets
yeah.
with, they could be in your dog's names. You got a dog farm over, and it's set up as a trust for your dogs. Nobody knows because it's pseudonymous.
Mhm.
If you buy without KYC AML, then you're off the radar.
Yeah.
Nope. And the governments are, the people in government don't want this to take hold. They're going to co-opt. They're going to try everything to keep their system in place, because that's what gives them power. That's what gives them control. If they
Mhm.
lose that, then they're just going to be standing up in suits and ties talking to nobody, because no one's going to care what they say. They just blather
Mhm.
on lying. They lie and lie and lie. It's all deception.
Sure.
They've been using deception for hundreds and hundreds of years, if not thousands.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like we have these like trading ranges that
Hmm.
consolidate right here and then right here. And then we're having going through another one, right? Right
Yep.
here. And it like almost feels like anyone that's holding this below, uh, I mean, anyone that is, there must be a big chunk of people that are just buying holders. Like, I think that's what this is.
Well,
And the reason we're not selling off dramatically like we used to back in the day is, and the halving was that, I don't know, I guess nobody believes in the halving cycles anymore, but like, and I don't, to be honest, but don't you think that this is mostly traders
I
on the,
think basically Bitcoin breaks all models. So the models really mean nothing to me,
Mhm.
except when I look at a chart, I can always, opine on the chart because whether it's a stock or anything, you just look at the
Sure.
chart and if it goes below 100 again, I think you get it. That's an opportunity of a
For
lifetime
people to buy. Yeah.
for people to
And
buy
this is when Trump won.
because it's heading straight to a million just by the protocol of
Yeah.
the dollar. Like the
Right.
dollar is built to lose value.
Yeah.
There's no and we're looking at it through the lens of the dollar, which
Yeah.
it's when you
There's
start valuing everything, every other crypto, which are all trash coins, I wouldn't get involved in them. But when you start valuing those in Bitcoin, not dollars,
Mhm.
nothing holds a candle to it. And same thing
Yeah.
with stocks, real estate, everything. Look at it through the lens of Bitcoin, not the dollar, and you'll see a whole different world.
Yeah.
It's
The
not
the
pretty.
dollar has no bottom,
Mhm.
which means Bitcoin probably has no top.
Yep. I mean,
All right.
just go back to when they create, or just go back to 1971 when they went off the gold standard and look at the value of a dollar on what it buys compared to that day. And that
Yeah.
was happening from 1913 to 1971.
Hmm.
It was a slow bleed, but then
Yeah.
then they cut the main artery, the neck, you
Hmm.
know, or I don't want to say that. That's a bad analogy, but you know what I mean. I got a little carried away there.
All right. So, you want to give us any explanation on what we're looking at here? You told me to find this, or you told me to
Yeah,
look at this, and I always thought this was the most important part of the chart because it shows you FOMO. Like
yeah,
what? There's only 94% that's been what mined?
yeah. This is a really cool application you can put on an old computer and just set it out. You can put it on an old iPad and hang it in your kitchen or on your wall. I met the guy who made this when it was nothing, nobody was talking about it or anything. He showed me it. And I thought it was the coolest thing. Now he's on all kinds of podcasts. Just released
Hmm.
two apps, one for Android, one for iOS, and it's so much. He built it out so much more. It's they call him TC. He's pseudonymous, so he don't like tell you his
Yeah.
name and stuff. But he's on. He was just on um the Bitcoin podcast, which is Walkers, and
Okay.
a couple of other ones. I think Prince. I want to. I don't know. He's making the rounds because he came out with those two apps. But basically, that epoch at the top left, that's cool because it shows you every 4 years the subsidy gets cut in half, and right next to the epoch it says subsidy.
Hmm.
We're at 3.125. And as that orange, see the orange circle at the furthest ring,
Hmm.
that little marker shows where we're at into the next halving. So we're getting near the halfway point, or we're like a third of the way to the next halving, and that
Hmm.
subsidy up top will be cut in half. That'll be 1.5625.
This one.
Yep, and that's how many bitcoins are given to the person who mines the next block, plus the fees, whatever the fees are.
Yeah,
And
that's a little over my head.
so basically, these computers, these high-end ASICs,
Yeah.
expensive computers, they're
That
doing
I
all these.
those I know. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones who are making all these transactions happen
Yep.
and basically solving these crazy like equations, algorithms. It's over my head too because I'm not a coder, but basically they're doing all the work. They're proof
Yep.
of work. They need all kinds of electricity to do these things.
Those are the miners. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have well, if you can move it over, you can't see the other stuff on it though.
Where?
Those are pictures on. So if you go to the right of the circle, there's a bunch of other stuff over there.
See
Yeah,
it
there.
now?
Yeah, you can see it now. So that has there's a cool thing right there where it says priority one, anytime
Hmm.
one. That's Satoshi's per V byte. Virtual byte is what V byte is, and
Mm-hmm.
the lower that is, which is one's the lowest,
Mm-hmm.
that's the cheaper the transaction is. So if you want to send, say you're playing around with Bitcoin, you want to consolidate your three wallets into one, and you
Mm-hmm.
want to send your Bitcoin, you can send it cheaper if the V bytes are low. So it costs you, say you want to send 20 grand, it'll cost you maybe $1 or 22 cents or something
Mm-hmm.
in that. So it's cheap to send large amounts of money.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap. And the hash rate, that's
Mm-hmm.
basically all the miners. That's 1.12 zettahashes, so a
Mm-hmm.
thousand exahashes. And if you put that into Grok, what an exahash or a zettahash is,
Mm-hmm.
that's all kinds of zeros on the back end of that. Like it's so many, and that means every hash is basically a copy
Mm-hmm.
of the network. It shows how strong that network is.
Yeah, it's hitting all-time highs.
Yeah, it's insanely strong. It's getting stronger and stronger, even though we're not going higher and higher on price.
Of
That
course,
it just shows that
the
it's
network is getting stronger. Yeah.
yeah. And then it also has the nodes down there, and that's
Okay.
basically a copy. It says public nodes. Now that's not all the nodes there are. Those are
Okay.
the ones that are known because they're not using Tor.
Mm-hmm.
Tor obscures your node. So you could be running a node and no one will know if
Hmm.
you're using Tor and you're just doing it on a computer uh
Yeah.
that's publicly seeable.
Sure.
So that's a copy of the whole Bitcoin like
Network.
every transaction that's ever occurred in the whole Bitcoin network is on that node. It takes
Mm-hmm.
around a gig
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep. No,
right?
you're right. I looked
Gigabyte?
it up the other day because I wanted to run a node.
Yeah, everyone should run a node. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a computer to do it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
that's Genesis block. That's this video we just
I can't stop it now.
not the Genesis block, the last halving. He put that video together. You just played it.
Yeah, I couldn't stop it. I had to just X out.
So
All right.
so many people that hit so many when the halving went down, his
Mm-hmm.
whole thing crashed because so many people were watching it. And so he's gonna have something for the next halving, I guarantee it. But he built that whole thing himself by coding it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man, what people can do, especially when you're passionate.
Timechaincalendar.com.
Yeah,
Oh,
timechaincalendar.com. Look up TC on Twitter, follow him.
yeah, I
He's a
do.
super cool dude. And it's funny, he was not in the he was a beer drinker, not in that great a shape or anything when I met
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
I see him like maybe 2 or 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and he's cut. All he eats
Yeah.
is meat. All he eats is steak, and he's like
Yeah.
just shredded. Does push-ups every day. So Bitcoin changes you when you say, when you tell people that, they're like, "What do you mean?" It's like a
Yeah.
spiritual awakening sometimes for people, and I can attest to that.
Yeah. You have a load time preference. Is
Yep,
that what it
yep.
means? Yeah.
That's what it is. You get low time preference where you'll put off the things you don't really need, and you look at like working out as more of a, if
Yeah.
I miss a day of working out, well, I don't get that back. So you take
Right.
your body seriously. You start to look at life in different ways, and
Definitely, it's true. Yeah.
it's a spiritual kind of awakening because money is spiritual in a way.
Yeah.
It's not in a good or bad because spirits can be evil or good,
Mm-hmm.
but it's spiritual in a way that it's like a musical tune is spiritual because you can put that tune anywhere in the world and send it
Mm-hmm.
easily, or someone can duplicate it, and that's how money is also. It's fungible, as they call it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to a video I found and see how this works.
Let's see it. Nelson Aldrich.
Meeting in secret to create America's central bank. We just can't call it that.
Look, trip in Jekyll.
The 1907 panic nearly destroyed us. Banks failed, fortunes vanished. We want to control America's money supply, create booms, trigger busts, and profit from both. And how will we do that? We'll create money from nothing, loan it to the government, and charge interest. Legal counterfeiting, my friends. But there's a cost. Every dollar we print steals value from existing dollars. It's a hidden tax that flows directly to us. And it gets worse. If we ever get off the gold standard, governments can print money for wars. Endless wars become possible and profitable. Since Americans hate central banks, we'll call it the Federal Reserve. Sounds governmental, doesn't it? It's not. The president will appoint board members, but we'll pick who he appoints. We'll have 12 regional banks. Looks decentralized, democratic even, but New York banks control them all. That's us. You're probably wondering how we're going to get this through Congress. December 23rd, 1913. Most of Congress home for Christmas. Perfect timing for passing unpopular legislation. I'll publicly oppose our own bill in Congress. They'll pass it thinking they beat Wall Street. We'll fund university chairs, write the textbooks. They'll teach our system as economic science. Beautiful. Every American born after this will inherit debt on money we created from nothing. Generational servitude. The Federal Reserve. Not federal, no reserves. But everyone will think it's their government protecting them. Jekyll Island, November 1910. 7 bankers meeting in secret to create America's central.
All right.
That's
Sorry
beautiful.
about that. Trying to get this thing to work here. It's hard because I'm on 2 computers. Now I have an echo. Yeah,
work.
the best part of it was when he said, we'll start 12 regional banks and we'll make it democratic. I like that. I like that part the most. And he's like, yeah, but the one in New York will control everything.
I heard a good one about politics the other day. It was Mark Passio. I think he's from Philly too. He was talking about how he watches WWE because it reminds him of politics. He's like, you got the good guy, the bad guy, and they all are working together to make a scene, or they're all actors on a stage. But most of America still believes it.
All right, one more video.
All right,
Let's
what
see
do we
here.
got?
I don't know. I think I have to mute myself and then play it because there's an echo.
Oh, right on.
Second to none. But it doesn't exactly work well for small, everyday payments. Imagine you're at a cafe. Every time you order a coffee, you need to shave off the right amount of gold from a bar, the barista assays it to check it's real, then you both stand up and announce to the whole cafe that the payment happened so everyone can update their own ledger. It's very safe, but completely inefficient. The line would be out the door. The Lightning Network fixes this problem for Bitcoin. Instead of chiseling off gold for every cup, you and the cafe each post a bit of gold upfront. This opens up a tab. Now, each transaction is just a quick note on paper, instant, cheap, and relatively private. When you're done, you close the tab, and only the final balance is settled in real gold on the main ledger. One entry instead of dozens of tiny ones. And here's the magic. These tabs don't exist in isolation, they link together into a web. Say you want a burger next door for lunch. You don't have a direct tab with the burger shop, but the cafe owner has a tab open with another customer who does. Your payment can hop through their tabs and settle instantly. And the best part is, you don't even have to trust the people in between. The system enforces the rules automatically to ensure the payment either reaches the recipient or returns safely to you. That's the Lightning Network, the global web of interconnected tabs. Bitcoin remains the incorruptible foundation, and Lightning turns it into everyday money for billions of transactions, big and small. For more information, visit simplemining.io.
That's a good explanation to how Lightning works. There's another. I remember when Lightning and Liquid were like competing with each other, but Liquid is a side chain. Lightning is a second layer built on top of Bitcoin, and it is just like a bar at a tap or a tab at a bar. But liquid is really cool also because it obscures the payment amount. And then when
Hmm.
you repeg back into Bitcoin, it just it's good for privacy. So
Yeah.
Lightning's like Strike uses Lightning, and it's so cheap to use and instantaneous, whereas Liquid has it's just a totally different network. But there's a really cool app called Bull Bitcoin by
Hmm.
a guy named Francis Poulet or Francis something. He's from Canada, and
Hmm.
he is a hardcore Bitcoiner, real good.
Hmm.
Everything's solid about him since I've ever heard of him, and he basically you can buy Bitcoin from him in Canada, not in the US, and he won't even take your Bitcoin. It goes right to your address. He won't sell you Bitcoin unless you have an address to put it in.
Yeah. I think
Not
I've
like
heard
Coinbase.
this before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to sit on. It's same with the Bitcoin Well does it that way, and they actually have the US and Canada. But
Hmm.
it's that dude, he created a cool app. I've been playing around with it, Bull Bitcoin, and then
Hmm.
another one that was just on Spaces was Mana, and they use Liquid Lightning also.
Okay. I'll have to do my research on all this stuff because it's all this is the part of Bitcoin I don't know.
Yeah, those are hot wallets. Like that
Hmm.
$10 I sent you, that's real Bitcoin. When you have all this other stuff, these are just promises that you have Bitcoin. When you
Yeah,
Bitcoin at Coinbase, or you have that's like me when I had the $100 on Mount Gox. I
sure.
didn't have Bitcoin. I just thought I had Bitcoin.
Yeah, of course.
So I
Yeah.
didn't do the research, and I figured out even when I was trading it, I never owned Bitcoin. I just owned a promise that I was going to
Hmm.
get proceeds. It's kind of like options. When you
Hmm.
think about
Yeah, it's a
options,
derivative of Bitcoin
yeah,
when you don't
you
have
don't
self
own.
keys, your
But
keys.
really, even with stocks and bonds, do we really own these things? Because we never possess them. They're just digits on a screen.
No, you can't self custody your NVIDIA shares. Last
You
time I
know,
checked, I
I
guess you
remember
could
when
have a
you could get,
certificate. Yeah,
yeah, when people get the Disney certificates, the stock certificates, that was
yeah.
kind of, you'd frame it.
Yeah, well, you would be very disgusted by me, but IBIT, IBIT is just so easy for me because I don't know. For
Well, it
one,
makes
for
sense
one, I
for
can
a
buy
lot
it
of
on.
people.
For one, I can buy it on leverage,
Yeah, and leverage,
which I don't recommend. But for
I'm
me,
not.
I have such a large portfolio that I can have a little bit of margin and pay off my monthly
Hmm.
cost in that situation, and that's why I like the whole idea of IBIT.
The
But
only issue I see is that when things do get crazy, and you want that, like it's going to
mhm.
be
Yeah,
that's not the time to take it out because that's when everything's going to get hectic. So what
and the
people,
margin requirements are pretty high on something like IBIT. I'm guessing.
yeah,
Um,
but I would
what's
just
going on with micro? What are your thoughts on MicroStrategy?
oh man, don't get me going on this one. So my
I
daughter
know you don't love
owns
them.
100 shares, and I sold her. So I sold. She got called away at 350. Okay, I was eager to get her back in because I wanted that's kind of like her allowance. I give her
Hmm.
her own money, and, and basically I put half of her whatever she makes in a covered call. I
Hmm.
keep half and I put it into a Bitcoin wallet for her, and then
Hmm.
I give her the other half in cash for spending money and stuff.
Sure.
So she gets called away at 350 back when it was at 350. And then it goes, and this was when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, 126. And then it went to like 360, back down underneath 350. I buy it back for her.
Hmm.
Instead of in my head, I was thinking I'm just going to put it all in Bitcoin when she gets finally called away.
Hmm.
Didn't do that. I went against my better judgment, bought more MSTR at like 340 something,
Hmm.
and now it's down to 280,
Yeah,
270 something.
276
They
right now.
report tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was funny that they had a credit rating of B. They gave them a grade of B, and it's like that's the whole point, is to get off the credit system. They don't care about a credit rating.
I know.
And it's sold off on that news. That shows
Yeah.
you how unintelligent these algos are.
People don't
Um,
understand Bitcoin, and nobody wants to do the work because it is a lot of work. It's like
yeah,
trying to understand the financial system, like the
yeah,
like that Aldrich thing.
yeah.
You got
There's
to
a
read
learning curve
research.
to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You're way ahead of the game just by being fundamentally curious. Most people are fundamentally
yeah,
incurious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
don't feel good about it. Therefore, I'm not going to research it.
Yeah, yeah, they pick and choose, but you have to spend time to research something.
Yeah,
I just find it funny that over all those years, I didn't really have a fundamental curiosity about it. But
I
I mean,
didn't
I
either.
guess I was kind of curious.
I was making money. Why would I care? That's Americans. That's why
Uh,
America, the
yeah.
people in America, let's just say, could suffer from, the exorbitant privilege and
Hmm.
end up being the last as a mass to get it. Like the masses of the people could get it
Yeah.
last because we already have PayPal, we have Venmo, we have all these
We have
things.
a somewhat stable dollar.
Yeah, we don't need stable coins in this
Hmm.
country. Like
Hmm.
Venezuela, Argentina, just look at how many pesos. You know how many Argentinian pesos you can get for $1?
No, how much?
Like 1,400 and something. You can't even get that many satoshis. You get 800 and something satoshis per
Yeah.
dollar.
Hmm.
There's 100 million satoshis in each Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's just like the cent, the one
Hmm.
penny. You
Yep.
know where the cent terminology comes from, right?
Mm-mm.
1%.
Mm. Makes sense.
It's newspeak. They shortened it.
Hmm.
So 1 cent, 99 cents, 99% of a
Yep.
dollar. So we're only going higher in dollar terms, but one Bitcoin's still gonna be worth one Bitcoin. And as
Yeah.
Bitcoin goes up in value, the world will see its value, but it's
Hmm.
when it goes up in dollar terms, it doesn't mean it's going like it's not a get rich quick scheme.
Hmm.
If it's
Hmm.
worth $1 million and then it goes to 1.1 million, you may have not made any like real value at that point. Your dollar got so less valuable on the dollar side. You're
Yeah.
just holding your value in Bitcoin. Eventually, that's going to be how it plays out. So
Yeah.
right now we're in the infancy of Bitcoin, so you
Yeah.
are, catching some gains.
Hmm. Hmm. Spoken like a Bitcoin maxi. I like
Yeah,
it.
I I I don't like to call myself a Bitcoin. Oh, there's a guy on Spaces just earlier before I got on with you,
Hmm.
and he
Hmm.
was a trash coiner, and it was just so painful to hear him talk because he was like poo-pooing Bitcoin, poo-pooing the maxis, and you know, the maxi term was made up to make fun of Bitcoiners who didn't like the trash coins. The Bitcoin maximalists basically took it and said, "Yeah, we'll take that badge of
Yeah.
honor," and they and
Yeah.
they took it and embraced it, and now it's something.
It's a positive.
These
Yeah.
these people are trying to save you money by not
Hmm.
getting. They're trying to help you not get rugged by all these
Yeah.
scammers, and that's
Right.
these trash coins are usually people with good intentions, maybe, but
Sure.
in the end, it's a centralized network that's copying Bitcoin, and it's just used to pump bags and then rug you.
Yeah. Right.
Trump coin is
Um,
not, when he's out of office, are people going to keep buying Trump coin? Melania coin,
yeah.
really?
Right. Yeah, that's a topic for another day. And yeah, I can't focus on Solana and Ethereum and all that stuff because I only needed to understand Bitcoin to know that nothing else can compete, and Bitcoin can never be replicated. I always say that.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah.
I think you're good
Anything
with
else
that.
you want to touch on?
No, I think we solved the world's problems, so we're good.
Hopefully the sharing the screen thing worked out. I don't know, but we'll
Yeah,
find out. We'll find out tonight when I put it online, just on
yeah. Well,
Substack.
our millions of listeners will appreciate it if it works. If it
Hey,
doesn't,
we have nice. It's really all Substack, but we get a good amount of views on Substack.
oh,
You know,
cool.
I put this everywhere. I put it on X. I put it on Instagram.
Yeah,
But it
I
brings you
retweet
to
it.
Substack.
Yeah,
It takes people to Substack. Yeah, Substack's growing
Substack
like
is
crazy.
basically a Twitter. It's kind of
It's
better than Twitter.
it's way better than Twitter.
It's
Yeah.
just not everyone's there yet. Same with
Yeah.
what's that other one? The one I like, Noster, but
Yes.
nobody's there. So it's a
Hmm.
better protocol, but they don't have promotional. But they're not pumping.
Yeah.
They, X or Twitter was early, so
Yeah.
they got
Now, can
everyone
you
else.
post our thing on Noster?
I
Because I know
can
there's a big
try.
Bitcoin community there,
Yeah,
obviously.
I can try. I'll just post a link to it. I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to have some presence on Noster if we're talking Bitcoin, I feel like.
Yeah, I got like three different accounts: Bitcoin for precedents, Bitcoin for president, Bitcoin for Prez. Because
Uh-huh.
every time I'd get a new phone, I'd start a new Nostr account just because it's pseudonymous, just like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's a private key and a public key, just like Bitcoin. So
Yeah,
it's cool
exactly.
to, you know,
Yeah, I'm not on it yet, but I want to go on it for sure.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's try to do this next week. Either we'll figure out the schedule. All right.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks for having me. And
Yep. Thank you.
see you next week.
All right. I have to pause this on my desktop. Oh God, where am I? Let's see. All right. Take care.
Take it easy.